Hello and good day everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is Sir Marcy. For today's video, we are going to discuss problem solving involving sets. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated with my latest videos. And for our today's objectives, we have the following. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to, letter A, recall union, intersection, and complement of a set. Letter B, present problems in Venn diagram. And letter C, solve problems involving Venn diagram. And for our references, I have used here the following materials. We have the EMAT by Orlando Colonce and Marlene Mendoza and the Grade 7 Math Learners Manual. Also, I take some examples from www.purplemath.com. So guys, are you now excited to learn more about our today's lesson? Then, let's go! Okay, before we proceed with our lesson, let's try to have a short activity first. This is a review of our past lesson. Okay, so the question is, who devised Venn diagram? So the letters are as follows. We have J, H, I, O, X, N. And for letter J, that's set. For letter H, intersection. For I, subset. O, empty set. X, equal set. And N for union. So question number 1. A collection of well-defined objects. Okay, very good. The correct answer is sets. And that is letter J. Next, let's move on with question number 2. A set with no common or with no elements is called, very good, that is letter O, that is called an empty set. Now let's proceed with question number 3. A set that belongs to A and B. Again, question number 3. A set that belongs to A and B, and that is correct. Letter H, and we called it intersection. Next, last number. We have number 4. A set that belongs to A or B. And that is right. So the answer is union. So that is letter N. So the person who devised Venn diagram is John Venn. Okay? So I hope you already recall these terminologies that we discussed in our previous lesson. So let's move on with our lesson for today. Okay? So the topic again that I'm going to discuss is all about solving problems involving Venn diagram. And let's recall the lesson we had last time. When we talk of Venn diagram, this is defined as the visual representation of a set that uses rectangle for the universal set and circle for the given sets. Also, it is used in many fields such as set theory, probability, logic, statistics, and computer science. Okay class, so before we start with our lesson with problem solving in Venn diagram, so remember these tips and things to remember. When talking about or and either, use union. When talking about and, use intersection. And when talking about neither, use complement. Okay, so let's now start. We have here problem number 1. Out of 40 students, 14 are taking English and 29 are taking chemistry. If 5 students are in both classes, how many students are in neither class? And question number 2 or letter B, how many are in either class? So in order for us to solve this kind of problem, we represent it in Venn diagram. So take note that the universal set is the total number of students enrolled here. So that is 40. Okay? Then we have two subjects. That is chemistry and English. Okay? Take note also that there are 5 students who were enrolled in both classes. So that's why we will write 5 here. Okay? And from here, we can now find the students who are taking only English class. So 14 minus 5, the answer is 9. So take note there are 9 students who are taking English class. And for chemistry, we are going to subtract again. So 29 minus 5, the answer is 24. So there are 24 students who are taking chemistry. Now, before we proceed in answering these questions, let's try to check if that is equal to 40 or there are 40 students enrolled. Okay, so let's now check. 9 plus 5, so that's 14. Okay, plus we have here 24, so that's equal to 38. Then, notice that there are 2 students who did not answer this survey or may be enrolled in other subjects. So that's why we have 2 outside. Now, from here, we can now answer the question. If 5 students are in both classes, how many students are in neither class? When we say neither, that's complement. And the answer is 2. And how many are in either class? The answer is 38. Okay, so when we say either, we're going to, that is an union. So meaning we're going to combine the elements in both sets. We have here the English and the chemistry. So 9 plus 5 plus 24, that is equal to 38. Okay, let's now proceed with problem number 2. 50 families were interviewed regarding 2 known brands of soaps. They preferred to use and labeled it as brand A and brand B. Take note that 15 families were for brand A and 20 families were for brand B. 7 families were for both brand A and B. So these are the questions that we're going to answer. How many families were using brand A only? And how many families were using brand B only? For letter B, how many families do not use any of the 2 brands? And letter C, how many families were using at least one of the 2 brands of soap? So before we answer this question, we'll represent it in Venn diagram. So take note, the universal set, we have 50 families being interviewed with these 2 brands of soap or brand of soaps. Take note that we have brand A and brand B as well. So in order for us to answer this, we will start at the bottom. So that means we will start here. So take note that there are 7 families were for brand A and B. So take note of this keyword, and is intersection. Meaning, there are 7 families who were using both brands. Then we will now proceed with brand A. So take note, there are 15 families were for brand A and there is already 7. So 15 minus 7, that is 8. So 8 plus 7, so take note, we have now 15 families were for brand A. And for B, there are 20 families. So we already have 7, so 20 minus 7, and the answer is 13. So before again we answer the question, let's try to check if that is equal to 50 or there are 50 families being interviewed. So tingnan natin. So 13 plus 7, so that's 20, plus 8, so that's 28. Meaning there are actually 22 families who did not wish to prepare, or these are the families who are not using these 2 brands. Okay, so let's now answer the question. How many families were using brand A only? Okay, the answer is A. And for brand B only, the answer is 13. How many families do not use any of the 2 brands? The answer is 22. And question number or letter C, how many families were using at least one of the two brands of soap? The answer is 21. Why 21? Because we're going to get the sum of the families who were using for brand A and brand B alone. So that's 8 plus 13. The answer is 21. Okay, let's now proceed with problem number 3. So in problem number 3, this is the same with problem number 2. If we have here 150 high school students were interviewed, then 85 registered for math class, 70 registered for English class, and 50 were registered for math and English. Again, it uses the word and, meaning intersection. Okay? So these are the questions. And to answer this question, we represent again our problem in Venn diagram. Okay, so there are 150 high school students, so that is our universal set. Next, we write the subjects taken by these students. So we have math and English. Remember, there are already 50 who were registered for both classes, so we write 50 here. And for math class, so 85 minus 50, we have 35. And for English, so that's 70 minus 50, so that is 20. Then we need to check if this is equal to 150. So 50 plus 20 plus 35, that is 105. Meaning there are 45 students who wish not to be interviewed, or maybe they are not enrolled in these two subjects. So for letter A, how many registered for math class? The answer is 35. For English class, the answer is 20. How many signed for math or English? Take note of this word, or, meaning union. We're going to get the sum of these three. Okay, so 35 plus 50 plus 20, the answer is 105. And how many signed for math and English? When we say and, that is the intersection. So the answer is 50. Okay, so for your activity, please write this down in your Seatwork notebook and send it via Google Form. Okay, so I hope you learned something new, and that's all our lesson today. Goodbye!